मेरे से तो नहीं है. We are live.
Suyash. Yes. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Tuesday talk with men of iThrive. Rare species at iThrive. Lots of women around here. But yeah, we love working with all these great ladies, including the founder Mugdha. And she has given us this platform where we can, discuss and talk about issues concerning men's health. So we have covered a lot of topics. We have talked about sexuality. We have talked about infertility in the past. Today we are going to talk about more a gentler subject as compared to what we have discussed in the past, like toxic masculinity and all. So we are going to talk about being a man. There are certain things which are expected of us as soon as you are born, right? You're supposed to be a heir to the crown, something like that, or your vansh ka diva. So you are supposed to be taking the vansh forward. So that is additional burden which is put on your head. It is your responsibility. If you're an elder boy in the family, you're supposed to be acting as a guardian in the absence of a father. So you take that additional burden on yourself, or it is given to you rather by default. As a man, you're supposed to be a breadwinner for the family, even if it is a default family like your parent, sibling, if you're a big brother. You are supposed to make money, you're supposed to have a meaningful career, you're supposed to act as a role model for rest of the family members to follow. So even as we look at the evolution as such, or we look at how the humanity has evolved. As a hunter gatherer, also there was certain expectation put on man that they are supposed to go and hunt and bring the kill and feed the family, and women are supposed to be at home cooking. Now with the modern society, a lot of things have changed. Women can go out and earn their own livelihood. They can make money. In fact, they can run companies, they can run businesses, they can do whatever they want. So, in that context, a lot of things in some societies or some startup society has changed. But overall, by and large, the things remain same. Men are supposed to do certain things. They are expected to do behave in a certain way. They are expected to do certain things. So most prominent among them is being a breadwinner of the family. And your entire life, right from your childhood, has been programmed into that direction. You are supposed to have a career which will give you a job, or which can give you a profession, which will give you money, which will then be able to feed your family. And you are supposed to acquire a family like a wife and kids, and you are supposed to take care of them. Now, here the career becomes so important in a child's life, in a male child's life, since the beginning of their birth, that lot of their faculties, the creative part of their life, or the emotional part of their being, gets neglected or gets trampled upon or gets repressed. So we are always told to mirth ko darne. We have seen this, right? Men are not supposed to cry. They can't be emotional. They can't be weak. They can't be showing their true feelings. They have to be always stoic and upright. They are supposed to be strong. They are supposed to be taking care of everything around them. So that is what the expectation of a man. And when you repress that side of a man, which is the softer side or the emotional side or the creative side, at some point it is going to break open. Sometimes it is going to create dissonance within yourself. So coming back to the fundamental question, this is the background that I wanted to set. This is what we're going to talk about. What is this career expectation out of a man, and what he's supposed to do, and how it can affect his mental faculty, how it can affect his cognitive health. And that is what the burden of being a man is, that you're supposed to follow a certain guidelines which is imposed by a society on you, in terms of making your career choices, or in terms of earning livelihood, or becoming a breadwinner of a family, and at the same time repressing your true feelings, true emotions, so that you appear as a strong person, although internally you may not be strong. And that is where that puts so much of burden on yourself, that there is a we have seen, Suyash, cognitive declining happening in men, because they are not able to take care of their emotions. And as we have seen, like we are made of different components. We are not the physical body that we see. We are a mind being, we are a spiritual being, we are emotional being, and all those beings are getting neglected just to create a front, or create a fascia, or create a image of a strong man. And that strongman image only comes your ability to make money, your ability to generate wealth, your ability to take care of your family. So that is where the background is of today's talk. We want to talk about the career to start with. Like I have seen my career, I followed the same pattern: lower middle class family, lots of expectation, wanted to make ends meet and have job as soon as possible. Chose to become an engineer. Fortunately, we were good at studies and we could become an engineer. And we got a good job and started making money. And then, because all other faculties, as I was explaining, got repressed, your emotional side get repressed, your creative side get repressed. You tend to neglect yourself more often than not to cater to the image that society has created for you. And in that process, at some point, that emotional disconnect happened, the spiritual disconnect happened, the cognitive decline begins, and then you look at all your life in a different perspective altogether. And that is where my transformation began at the age of 40. So till the age of 40, I was following what society had dictated for the men of my times. You're supposed to do this thing, and I was doing all those things. It didn't give me the satisfaction. It didn't give me the happiness. It didn't bring that job satisfaction, life satisfaction rather. So my transformation began at the age of 40. I started questioning everything, looking at things differently, and how best I can change the trajectory at this stage of my life. And that is where I am sitting now. I work as a health coach. I work as a mind coach. I do a lot of stuff with the startups. I do systems, processes, finance, fundraise. So a lot of things I learned that I was not programmed to learn by the society. So I am an example of a person who has gone through that thing and reached a stage where I am doing whatever I want to do, whatever I like to do, whatever I want to follow. So Suyesh, what was your career trajectory?
It was more or less the same, Avinash. But it took, like 40, like at the age of 40, you realize, right? But it was fortunately for me, it was like at the age of 20 to 28 between, I realized that. So I started my graduations, computer graduation, and mid of the graduation, I realized that this is not something I'm designed to, do. There was an inner calling, which which kept me telling that you need to pursue that field. But because there was a society pressure, because there was a pressure from my parents that I need to first finish this career and get a good white collar job, and then you can do whatever you are free to, right? So that's why I did my graduation as well as my masters. And that's where when I came to Pune, and there was something which still I was feeling empty on, right? Like that was not fulfillment, and that was causing me a lot of stress, emotional trauma, as well as physical symptoms, okay, which no allopathic doctor was able to find. When I used to go and tell them that, okay, is it whether this has a connection with any other emotions I'm experiencing, no one know that, right? That the deeper thing which we do. From that point, I thought that, okay, I'll be diseased. I'll die if if I'll not pursue what I want to. If I'll not do what I want to. So that courage, from the moment when I took and I started to pursue my passion, started to pursue whatever I used to like. I like, as an example, love coaching people. I love helping people heal, right? And so I started that stuff, and then the whole this my life trajectory,
So how easy or tough is to journey to find out what exactly you want to do in your life? Like I remember, you came for the interview at iThrive, and your CV was like full of 6 months, 5 months,
right.
4 months job. And I was talking to Mukta, okay, this guy, I don't know what is he looking for in life. So
Mhm.
how easy or tough is to find your calling, your passion, or
So I was trying to explore different things, and I was going through different, what is so called as archetypes, right? Different stages in my life, where I was trying to find that what I am made for, whether I'm fitting in that or not. In some company I used to get one thing, but I was lacking other skills, right? My other skills were not being fulfilled, my other potential was not being used, so I was feeling again a lack of empty, or not being fulfilling my vision, dream. And that's where, of course, when I came here, and then I thought, okay, I went through no expectation, but there was something which was looking me forward to it. Like the first thing I think, still know that when I was, before coming to the interview, I saw Mugda's video on the website. And when the way she told that she work on reversing chronic disease, I thought that is something which I want to do, with the help of natural alternative, holistic medicine and functional medicine, right, which we are doing in much deeper level and to another level, right? That's where I came. And that, I think, that is where, like I when in my first meeting with Mugda, I really find that, okay, this is something, place where I belong to, which I was searching from so long time, right? And I'm fortunate, that Mugda helped me,
So
grow in
is
a
it
manner.
by fluke or by design? I mean, what would you advise someone who is looking for their calling? What should they be
I
doing?
think you should listen to your heart, but at the same time, you should use your brains to reach there, right? So that is
Yeah.
something you need to
So
go. I think that
is it easy? I mean, how was your emotional journey during that entire phase
it
of
wasn't
finding out?
easy. Like my parents used to tell कि क्या कर लेगा, कितना कमा लेगा तू इसमें nutrition की job करके, and there is no growth. एक certain extent के बाद you will not grow enough. But I always used to feel, even my colleagues certain time used to tell me, because a lot of my colleagues were female, and they used to tell me that if you will have to grow your family, you'll have to earn a good thing, that where you can societal can look up to you, where a family can look up to you. At that time I used to think, no man, like this can help me do that, right? It's only the thing of right moment, right type of thing which we do, right? So that is something, it kept me calling, no matter, even if I earn nothing, but this is something which I want to do, because that's fulfilling my purpose, right? So there is a very good quote by Alan Watts, which I, when I used to experience, and when I was discovering my path, he always used to say that, like when you're questioning what you're designed to do in life, just ask these questions, like what does makes you itch, what does makes you kick in life, right? Do that thing, whether it's painting, whether it's writing poems, whether it's designing, whether it's anything to do with nutrition, helping people heal. No matter doing that stuff, the right money, right, everything will come to you, being provided there. So that is something I used to always have in my mind, and I used to believe in that for sure. And of course, see, today if I see here, that definitely I now I have answer to all those people who used to criticize me and tell me that, okay, you will not be able to do anything, or you'll not be able to reach the way where you are right now. So definitely it has been tough, but I always used to see that, okay, I want to do this thing, that's my heart inner calling, and I'm like, I can give anything for it, right? So that is the willing of risk and courage you need to step in. Once you step in, believe me, universe, this consciousness will really help you take another steps, big steps, and that's how it helped me grow, right? There are certain people in my life started to came in and help me grow to certain extent in the way where right now where I am there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So what I see na, as a mind coach, if there is a some kind of you have a synchronization between your heart's desire, that is your mind or soul telling you what you need to do,
right.
and your body, your mind is working in that direction. So a lot of us, lot of men who don't find that there is always a dissonance between what their heart wants and what they actually do in their life. So when you were not doing what your heart wanted you to do, was there a kind of friction? Was there a kind of dissonance? What kind of physical
Yeah,
symptoms
definitely. like
that
like
you
i
experienced?
I used to, of course, feel experience a lot of stress. I used to cry in nights, like I want to do this. Please help me, universe. I used to pray this in my mind, and I used to see some motivational videos, inspirational videos. Follow my mentor. That was the only way I was able to keep my dream alive,
Hmm.
or else it would have been dead and inside it, as with it happens with a lot of people, right? And then it would have appeared in some kind of disease form or some kind of disorder form, right, which we see with a lot of our clients now. So one has to overcome that emotional trauma, and of course one has to experience and embrace those emotions and address those emotions. That's a very important step, right? If you'll be neglecting your emotions, if you'll be ignoring your emotions, and if you'll be keep like uh, burying it, definitely it will in some or the other form it will come as a disorder or disease or in any other form, right?
It's really brave of you agreeing on a social media platform that you used to cry. And people find it
Yeah,
difficult.
yeah.
You
So
men are not supposed to cry like but
I know, but that's how I used to release my emotions because I didn't know any other way to do, right? So that is how I used to. But that is something which helped to use me, feel very light at the end of the day, and then that's how I was able to go to sleep peacefully. That okay, even I have experienced these emotions, I have tried to express it as much as possible, and I've prayed and I've connected with universe and consciousness through those emotions,
but
right?
you
So
had that conviction in your mind, okay, this is what I mean, I will get what I am looking for. Or was there a doubt at any point of time? कि नहीं होगा, I will just keep crying and I won't do it.
so for that na, I always used to see okay nahi hoga to kya, like what good is happening now in the life, right? Agar nahi bhi hoga to I am there but where I am, right? But what if it happens and if I can grow that way and if I can get out of the shell and then grow into my full potential, right? That will be whole
Hmm.
different world, different conscious, different universe. So just I used to focus on that, and as we all know, right, wherever we focus, wherever we put our energy, that grows, right? So and then start growing, and that thought, that seed started to plant and started to grow, and I think that's how it came towards the potential.
Yeah, we will, Suresh, will come back to you on how to, everyone goes through the anxiety wala part, the stress wala part before they actually realize what they are supposed to do in their life. Most of us don't even realize what we are supposed to do because we have just, suppressed that thing entirely, and we are just going by what society expects us to do. You make money, have a job, have a salary, and wife and kids and house and car and foreign trips, and that is what a successful man is supposed to be doing. So we will come back to you. How do you do it at a biochemical or metabolic level? Is there a connection between your heart's calling not being addressed and your metabolic health? We will address that. But I have an interesting story of Rusty also. He should share. I mean, what has been his career growth as a child, as a male child, when he was born into a typical Haryanvi family, which is like, solid male-dominated society where man is expected to do a lot more than what a woman can even dream of. So, what has been your journey, Rusty, in terms of how you were brought up and your professional choices and your career choices?
Sure. Thank you, Avinash. And amazing, beautiful story, Suyash. So, since the childhood, I, since the time I got internet at my place, I realized, okay, the potential is immense. There is a whole different world out there, and I cannot like just stop because it was so exciting. Figuring out new stuff on the internet every day. So I used to spend all nights when I was a kid, 10th class that was, because it was unlimited free internet. So I used to sit from night 2 to 4 and then go to sleep. And then I realized, okay, I can do anything. Like I legit made a lot of money that time. And then I figured out, okay, I cannot have a traditional career path. That was the first time I realized when I some money hit my bank, as in my PayPal account. I didn't have a bank account back then. um, so I realized I cannot have a traditional career, and then I started learning more about what all can be done, like how things work, how tech works, how different file systems are working with each other to give access to a whole new platform, stuff like that. And it was very intriguing for me. And then eventually, as I knew that I cannot have a mainstream career. So I started freelancing. I dropped out of college. I actually thought that I'll go about the college. I went for a year or two, and then I was like, okay, I can't do this. So I dropped out of the college, even though I was
What was
doing
the
some.
issue with college? I mean, what did you not like about being in college?
Yeah, it's there are a lot of issues there, but to be really honest, it was really boring. Like the way they were explaining concepts, I had learned the same thing in a different way. So I had different understanding of those things, and actually I was thinking, ki maybe I'm losing it all, whatever I know. after hearing these lectures.
Instead of teaching you, they were unteaching you.
Probably. So that was not good. So I was like, okay, I can just, I think I can take care of myself. Although there was pressure from the family side that, you cannot just quit the college. And I used to think about it. I'm like, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? And I'm like, okay, I have to. I have to quit. I can't do this. I can sustain myself at least for a while, and I'll figure out something. And then, at the same time, I had that hacking mindset with me, and then I got into design. you know and then I had this upcoming career of being a UX designer, so I started freelancing in that. And then for the next couple of years, I started learning more and more stuff, got deep into it, learned a lot of tech around it. And then I was always researching. I figured out Bitcoin, and then through Bitcoin I figured out nutrition. And that till that time I had I had a lot of unexplained issues, like I was feeling anxious all the time. I was low energy, I was feeling dizzy in the afternoon. Not good stuff. So I thought, okay, this is not good. I need to figure out what's happening, because I took whatever I wanted to do, I did, and then these were consequences of that. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can, if I spend some time researching about it, I can figure it out. Okay. And to be really honest, you guys won't believe it. Once I figured out, how the government prints money out of thin air, I realized, okay, whatever they are saying with respect to nutrition might be wrong as well, because they have been lying to us through the nutrition. I mean, through the money angle, through the economics, as they say. They might be lying here too. And then I figured out, okay, calories in, calories out is not the end of everything. There's more to the body. There are hormones, and uh, and whatever I was being told, like eating a vegetarian diet is great. I was a vegetarian for 24 years of my life, and I was like, okay, I need to change. And then I switched to a heavy meat based diet, although I didn't like the taste, but I was like, okay, this is something I need to do for my health, because whatever I was reading through the alternative angle, okay, it was just blowing my mind. And I was like, okay, I cannot just stop, just because I do not like the taste, or just because I was a vegetarian from 24 years of my life. I should not be eating this. I like chuck it. I will start eating. And then I started eating, and over the next 6 months, I saw a huge change in myself. My hypothyroid was gone, my anxiety was gone, my low energy levels were gone, the the markers were getting back in the balance, and I was feeling great. For me, it was always about feeling great. Okay, as long as I'm feeling great, that's good. Everything else is secondary. Okay, we can talk about it later. If I'm feeling great, I know that I'm good. Okay. And then I was like, okay, everyone was telling me that it's all about the calories, but I didn't bother about the calories, and I was just eating a nutritious diet, and it worked out so well for me. And why are so many people still suffering? And then I from there, like I've been reading about nutrition, and then last year in Feb I joined iThrive. It's been a great journey so far. Yeah.
So you made certain professional and career choices based on your intuition.
Yes,
Fundamentally, you didn't
majorly.
think कि ये मेरे को whether it is going to give me money or not. So was
Yeah,
there
that was
expectation
always
from
secondary,
you?
because that was always secondary. Always knew that I can make money. Okay, money is not primary thing. Money can always be made, but I have to go by my principles, which I have, my ethics, which I have in place. That is very important. Okay, I think that is what has guided me throughout. Okay, that is why my intuition has been right all the time. You
So
know,
was there a pressure from the society or the family to
yes,
make
there
a
were a lot of people telling
stable
me that.
career or stable job or stable profession? So that
Absolutely. There were a lot of times in my life when a lot of people told me that probably I should just go about, get a job. I can probably just start from an intern and stuff like that, because I do not have a lot of, formal career experience. And there were times I thought about it for some time. I'm like, nah, I can't do this. No, I cannot do this. Maybe, like, I should just keep going about it, and eventually I'll figure it out. And I did. I think I am at a great place right now.
cool. Picking on that thread, Suyash, like he was talking about being a vegetarian and having lots of cognitive issues like stress and anxiety, and getting it gotten it rid of when he switched to a non-vegetarian diet. So coming back to the metabolic of the cognitive health, which again comes from the expectation of society in terms of how a man should make his career choices or professional choices, or how they should be viewed as a successful man. So this is actually coming out of that stress, that anxiety, that cognitive decline that we talk about. Is there a metabolical connection between what you are putting into your body and your state of mind when you are making those also important career and professional choices? So, and is it possible to address it through some remedies or some dietary intervention?
Definitely, Avinash. So we have been talking about this for a long period of time, right? The first thing which we assess the client's need, or how we need to work with the client, is through the blood test, right? We get a lot of information, a lot of data. So the first and foremost information we get it through their even we get to like know from certain stress markers, inflammation markers, even if there is any kind of infection, or if the person is having insulin resistance, right? Having all of these things definitely can impact the brain's functioning, especially feeling fatigue, high or low energy levels, being not able to sustain energy, enough energy to get throughout the day, work through the day. So all of this thing, and on the added pressure, if that person is not pursuing, as we've been discussing, if that person is not pursuing what the person meant to do, like let's say if a person is not liking what the person is doing, or if the person is not pursuing the job what he or she loves, that's the biggest added stressor, which can fully mess up their biochemistry. They can increase the hormone called as cortisol, and then cortisol can impact on all other levels, whether be it in insulin resistance, blood sugars, can make more susceptible to infections, lower down the immunity, a lot of different things, right? Which we get to know through all of their biomarkers through all of our blood tests, right? So that's the first path, right? And then once we know that, then the choices they are making for themselves, right? Whether they bad decisions leads to bad choices, and bad choices lead to further bad decisions. That's the vicious cycle, right? So it just
Yes.
keeps on happening, right? With a lot of clients we see, that's why they're not able to get out of that cycle, right? And that's where our job comes in to help them to realize that what's been going wrong in their blood chemistry, and get it off the system. Even if they are eating junk, right? That junk can whether low protein, not enough amino acids getting through the diet, not enough nutrients like vitamin B vitamins getting through the diet, can all make the person's neurotransmitter work lesser and lesser, and not optimally, and that can lead to further decisive issues. If the person is fatigued, if the person is low in energy, definitely they will not be able to take a better decisions, all right? And they will not be able to optimize their working power, right? So all of that definitely we know that, right? In the work we do, that it affects each one of them.
So, Rusty, on the cognitive decline, you have discovered many more things more than the metabolic health itself. So, does it help the kind of work you do around EMFs, and even knowing what exactly how exactly the humanity is being manipulated, or whatever you talk of those conspiracy theories, so called, actually they are facts now. Uh, does that have an impact once you know of these things? Will you be in a better position to make your career choices? Because that is what something which actually ignites fire in you, right? So
Right,
that is what
absolutely.
brings out the passion in you. So if you're doing something, your profession is around your passion, will you be able to make better career choices? So in that sense, is it a good advice to anyone who is listening to us to work on finding out what exactly their true purpose in life, and look around for things which is taking you away from their true purposes?
Yes, absolutely. I think if you do not like what you're doing, then you are going to get exhausted very very soon. It's just a matter of time, like not now, maybe a couple of days later, because you do not really enjoy it. So you need to figure out what your true purpose of you being on this planet is. So that can only be done by trial and error. Just what do you do in your free time? What do you like doing? Think about those questions. Okay, do you like chilling? Okay, just chill. Just be at rest for a while, and then automatically things will come to you. Because for me, like I'm always I realized this recently. I was thinking about it yesterday.
Hmm.
Whenever I move houses, and the recent one I moved like a couple of months back, I'm always sitting near the big window. Okay, like as if like I want to be closer to the nature. Like you are always drawn to things automatically when you are not stressed about something in particular, because you are going to be stressed if you do not like what you're doing. So you need to figure it out. It might take, for some people it can come very early, for others it might take time. But the thing is to not stop and keep hunting for it until you figure it out. I love like researching around the health and nutrition, and how the sun and these electromagnetic fields impact our existence. It does, right? Like a lot of people have migraines because they're constantly plugging in their AirPods in their ears. There are a lot of things like that. So I mean, first you remove the stressors from your life. Okay, if you do not like your job, quit it. Before that, figure out a plan, like how you're going to sustain yourself for next 6 months or 8 months, and then remove these stressors, these added stressors, like all the toxins you are exposed to. Probably go live in the mountains or something, like as they say in the book, the monk who sold his Ferrari. That guy, he went to the Himalayas, and two years
Yeah,
back, and 2 years later he came down,
yeah.
and then he was like perfectly good, no
So
stress at
actually,
all,
that is my
lost
story
tons of weight.
actually.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, I think people need to work on figuring out what they really like. That's very
So I have
important.
a very simple way of asking people to do it. Imagine you have your money is taken care of. What
Hmm.
would you do now? So that is what we should be doing. Like you don't have to
Right.
do things. If you're doing things for money, it will have limited purpose. Like it will serve you for a limited period of time. So if money is taken care of, what would you like to do the next moment? That is what we should be doing. You just imagine कि आपके अकाउंट में $100 million है, टैक्स फ्री है,
Hmm.
कोई टैक्स नहीं लगेगा, कोई गवर्नमेंट लेके नहीं जाएगी उसको, उसके साथ 15-20 बिटकॉइन भी है.
Hmm.
So everything is taken care of.
Now that's
Now,
now I'm
now,
satisfied.
now
15
what?
taxes
Now
free.
what would you do? Right? So
Uh,
that is a very easy way of finding out what exactly you want to do, because most of us I am speaking to, or I interact with, or I am in touch with, they work for money,
Yeah,
and
agree.
their only reason to do whatever they're doing is to make money. They don't even know what to do with that money.
Right.
So I always give example of money as a source of energy, right? If you don't know how to use source of energy like electricity, someone else will use it. It will go to someone else's house. It will serve someone else's purpose. So even making money is okay. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a great thing making money. But you should also need to learn what do you do with that money. And that is where not only the burden of being a financial provider or a bread earner for the family is put on man. They are also exposed to this additional burden of figuring out how the money works, and most of us are very
Right.
poor at it. They think कि थोड़ा tax saving instrument में डाल दो, इसमें डाल दो, इसमें डाल दो. But the fundamentally how the money works as a source of energy, that understanding is very limited, and that is where we put ourselves in such a fix कि we don't understand what we are doing and why we are doing it, and we keep doing it because society has put that burden on us. कि you have to make money, you have to make money. What do I do with that money? Society has not told you.
Right.
राइट सो यू कीप डूइंग थिंग्स व्हाट अदर्स आर डूइंग कि उसने शादी किया मैंने भी कर ली, उसने गाड़ी खरीदा मैंने भी खरीद लिया, उसने घर बनाया मैंने भी बना लिया. So we keep doing things looking at other people what they are doing. So again it is driven by what society thinks or rewards in a way. So now coming back to the last question, like there is very funny question that I have. Do you think being a man is a burden? And if yes, why? And if not, why not? So yes,
Yeah. So if you
would you have been better in another gender role?
no, definitely. Certain before I used to think like that,
Okay.
but the moment I came out of societal construct, the moment I felt free, and like that was not no longer a burden for me, right? So if you're in that societal construct, if society matters to you, if society's beliefs matters to you, definitely man being a man will feel like a burden to you. But if those beliefs doesn't matter to you, you are a free being. If you don't give a damn to their thinking, their thoughts, their beliefs, and you have your own beliefs, own visions, own you do your research, and you have own vision mission to being fulfilled. Definitely, it will not be no longer be a burden for sure.
Rusty, would you have been a better as a woman or
No, I think if you're not happy in your body, then you won't be happy anywhere.
okay?
You know,
Not only about body, like
in
that
any
kind of
gender.
expectation, like what women go through, they only know. We can only
Yeah,
imagine. And
Right.
absolutely.
what we
Previously, I used
go
to
through,
think
we
like
only know. They
women
can't.
have it easy. I used to think that, but everyone has their own
Same.
challenges,
Yeah.
and you can never like figure out a life in without being in their shoes.
Mm.
So I choose to I really enjoy my life, and I think it's great. The God has given me a beautiful body and life and soul. So really blessed to be here.
Okay. So there is one audience question. I don't know about the relevance, but we will try to answer. Should the definition of a man be subjective or objective? What does it mean, Suresh?
You would be better, Avinash. Like I'll not be able to.
I think these are just labels. Like I think we
Yeah,
should not
exactly.
be defined by anything. We should be defined by your work and how you really think about the society. Do you care about your fellow human being or not? That's what is more important than being labeled regarding something. Right.
Yeah, yeah. That is nice. But as a there are in our ancient wisdom, there is a talk of every person being Ardhanarishwar. So everyone has a feminine side, everyone has a masculine side. Every being on this planet. And
Right.
what has happened now? We have only exposed ourselves to
Hmm.
one side of our personality or one side of our being, and we have neglected the other side of the being because that gives us, a perspective about the other gender, which is the feminine gender. Like being a masculine man, I can have feminine characteristics. So the things that you mentioned about being vulnerable, being emotional, being caring, and thinking about healing people, these are all nurturing and nourishing. They are all very very feminine
Feminine.
characteristic.
Yeah.
It comes. So when you expose yourself to those kind of, or when you develop those kind of faculties which enhances your overall appeal as a man, so then the manhood doesn't become a burden on you, because we have suppressed that feminine side of ours. I think that is what it
Hmm.
puts lots of burden
Agree.
कि 50% इंसान को पूरा 100% काम करने का. Although we are made of this 50-50 kind of being, and it is true for everyone. Even feminine has a masculine side to it,
Right.
and that is where the life ka journey is all about. Like you explore your other faculties. You don't get burdened by society's expectation of being a man. You explored your femininity, you explore the softer side of your being, you explore the emotional being within you, and then being a man will not be a burden because you will be complete in yourself.
Yeah, you'll be
And that
complete
is what,
man.
yeah, you will be a complete person within yourself, without any objective or subjective definition, whatever has been put by the society. And that is what brings us to the end of this particular discussion. I didn't thought when we started, like morning, I was thinking what am I going to talk about, like what are we going to discuss? But it has come out really interesting.
Yes,
There are so
definitely.
many aspects of the career and the health part of it, the ignorance part of it, that we don't understand what being man is all about. We only think it is a machoism. We only think it is what society expects us to do. And there are so many sides of our personality that we have not been explored, we have not been exposed or explored. So that is a good start to have on this particular topic. Let's explore the other side of us. Let's explore the complete side of us. Let's explore the neglected side of us, and see
The
if it
dark
is what
side,
our
so
purpose
called
is.
as dark side.
Dark side, neglected side,
Right.
ignored side, whatever side you call it. But see if it makes sense. Okay, by exploring that, I can, get insight into myself more. So I can know more of me. And I think at this beautiful note, we should end here. And thank you, everyone,
One
for
question,
watching
Avinash.
us. And if
Do
you have
you
any
have
question, you can always reach out to us. You can like, share, comment on YouTube channel. where it is being telecasted and it will be saved for further reference. And thank you, Suyesh and Rusty, for being so honest and vulnerable.
Yeah,
Thank you.
pleasure, always pleasure. One question, Avinash, do you have
Yes.
any resources for if someone has to learn about money management? Because you've been talking, and I definitely think that a lot of people, a lot of men especially, have hard time, using that, right? So, do you have any resources, or you yourself teach money
Suyesh,
management?
see,
Yeah,
there are four beings that we think of, right? We are the physical being that interact with the outside
right,
world. Then there is a emotional being. Then there is a mind being, the mental being, and there is a spiritual being. That is
right,
all of us are put together inside one body. Now this money appeals differently to these different beings. So if you
right.
want to understand money from an emotional point of view, it has different understanding, different connotation.
Okay, that's in
If you want to
perspective.
understand money from the physical point of view, then you have to think about taxation and bonds and yield and
Mm-hmm.
interest. That is very, very 3D level stuff. If you
Got
want
it.
to understand money from the spiritual point of view, it is a source of energy. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
understand money from the mind being point of view, it is another energy source. So it can drive some people to any extent. Like people are
Right.
crazy, like they keep making money.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mukesh Ambani still wants to make money. So
Right.
that is what his mind thrives on. That entire process of making money. So when you say, ki, I want to understand money, then you have to understand which faculty of yours want to understand this. If you want to understand it wholly and truly, you have to look at money from all
All
angles.
the angles.
It cannot be
Cool.
only कि मेरे को money management सीखना. Money
Got it.
management कोई भी सिखा देगा. It's very easy. 3D stuff is very easy. The difficult
Mm-hmm.
part comes when you start exploring your
Different level.
emotion, mind, and spirits. And that is where making connection with the 3D world, with your spiritual being, that is a challenge. कि मैं पैसा
Agree.
बनाऊं, तो spirit बोलता है क्यों बना रहा है?
Exactly. Right. I used
So
to
that
face that.
dissonance we have to address at a different level altogether. We can
Cool.
have chat about it. Maybe in the next
Got it.
episode we can only talk about this.
Yep.
We can have a private sitting on this.
Yes.
Let's talk someday.
Cool.
But
Thanks
yeah,
for
good
enlightening.
question, good topic
Yeah.
to talk about. Maybe we'll cover it someday.
Because yeah, a lot of people do experience challenges when it comes to that, right? And that's why they're, experience a lot of health issues because of that, right? So it
Yeah, yeah,
itself
I have
affects,
seen people who are driven by some passion. Their
right?
money with the 3D world ka understanding of money is very poor.
Right. Exactly.
So they are on a passion, they are on a mission, they are fully dedicated to it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to make sense of this world.
Right.
So they are completely misaligned with the idea of money in this world. So if you are misaligned with the idea of money in this world, you
Mm.
will die of hunger.
Got it. Yeah.
So you don't want to do that.
Agree.
So understanding everything from that perspective makes a lot of sense. So we will talk about it. We will connect on this again one
Thank you
on
so much,
one or
Avinash.
on the platform or any forum. I would be happy to share my insight and listen to other people's insight on this.
Cool.
So thank you guys. Lovely talking to you.
Okay. Thank you, Avinash.
And we will keep doing this forever.
Definitely. Okay, Rashi. See you.
Bye. See you.
Bye bye.